Welcome back to the Martin Liedtke channel. Glad you could be here today, guys. Today, I'm going to put a case forward of why I think these things here are nothing more than fear-based mind control, based on no proof and no reality. Allow me to elaborate. I believe there's been an eerie silence surrounding the tests of nuclear weapons. When you look into it, you find out that apparently there's been no tests since the early 1990s. And you also find out that apparently the only ones that have tested are the North Koreans in 2015, which means that our immediate threat from nuclear annihilation stockpiles, the stockpiles that haven't been tested, are more than 30 years old. Can you just imagine this? They put us through. Not so much in Britain, but we did live into the fear of, TV programs like Threads or the day after tomorrow. But yeah, America definitely with the bunkers and the duck and cover, get under the table. All will be well if the Russians drop the bomb on us. So we live like that after 1945. You can see here the American troops are in the trenches in a nuclear test. Cover your eyes because of the flash. Look away so you don't witness the conventional explosives being exploded. Anyway, so for decades, the world lived under the shadow of nuclear annihilation. Mushroom clouds, atomic winters, and Cold War standoffs like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Fallout bunkers, everyone getting ready to get into their bunkers for the new post-apocalyptic world. The nuclear family was born. But in reality, though, okay, all they give us is shitty, grainy, vintage footage of atomic blasts. Even though they are crappy films, they still did enough to control and put fear of God into the collective psyche. You can see here the American soldiers actually running into the atomic bomb. Anyway, so why did the West stop testing nuclear bombs? Well, since the 1990s, the US, the UK, and other Western powers have ceased nuclear testing detonations, which they did finally underground, apparently. The official reason is treaties like the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, the CTBT, and they shifted the whole nuclear program to computer simulations. I shit you not. So skeptics ask when they look at these grainy, shitty old movies, how can you simulate something that you haven't even proven works in the first place? And if you do scream at this screen saying, yes, they have, well, that's the mind control kicking in the MK Ultra. Okay, here's some more images of these shitty things, shitty grainy images, which is enough to terrify humanity into a new paradigm after 1945. Anyway, like I said, the last test was in 1992. That means, guys, that the entire nuclear arsenal is over 30 years old. Now, forgive me, but wouldn't warheads degrade? Wouldn't wouldn't it deplete the uranium source? What about the components? Don't they corrode in these nuclear bombs just sitting on their ass for 30 years plus? Everything else does. Leave a car sat on its ass for 30 years, see what it does. Okay, and what about rust? Yet they tell us, to the public, that all of these warheads are ready to go. Is the last of the underground testing that they were supposed to do, keeping it all out of sight, and they can be doing absolutely anything. But the films, the Cold War films themselves, guys, they've been often criticized. this is one of the biggest reasons is this camera footage here, which I will get into shortly. So there's been odd lightning, suspicious camera angles, and the implausibility of stability and survivability in what is apparently a nuclear blast. So this camera is not far away from the nuclear blast, yet they tell us a nuclear blast evaporates a city. Well, it's not evaporating that camera, is it? Anyway. So my case for illusion, if you look into the documentary of this, it's a part of Trinity test. You can see that these trees are put into these plastic things. These are not real trees. These are set up artificial trees that goes with the nuclear village that you may have seen on the movie The Hills Have Eyes. The footage problem. Okay, so eerily stable cameras that have survived the blast. That is meant to vaporize cities. So could these images that they've just given humanity to put fear into them be nothing more than miniatures or just special effects? These are studio productions and really crap as well. Look at that. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, problem number 2 is the fallout fallacy. Wow, you remember nuclear fallout? Remember nuclear winters? Yeah, when you were all going in bunkers, if you open that door, that radiation's going to seep in and kill you all. Do you all remember that narrative that they told us for the last 50 odd years since the war? Okay, well, they're doing it all over again, aren't they? Nukes are nothing more than a psychological weapon to keep people in control, to keep people. This is a nuke going off. Don't worry, they're not real. As Batman and Robin would testify to. So Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I think, are the best evidence for the lack of what is supposed to be radioactive fallout following a nuclear bomb. So the first atomic bomb, they say, little boy, there was one later in Nagasaki. Apparently, after the Manhattan Project, the Nazis are supposed to have designed an atom bomb, which is based on the fundamentals of quantum physics. They say that they implode using conventional explosives, the implosion technique, and implode using Einstein's equation of E equals mc squared, mass exponentially. Just going on that alone, they say that they derive the source from another dimension, and then it expansionally blows into this dimension, which is just science fiction bullshit, whatever. So Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, so I think that this was just an eradication of a lot of Tartarian architecture. The rest was wooden, which is why this city was chose. You know, it's nowhere near Tokyo or Yokohama or any of the industrial centers of Japan is Hiroshima. So I'm suggesting that, you know, there was certain architecture there, and it was testing it because the most of the city was made of wood. As you can see, electric trams going. So I think it's a very good possibility that this place was firebombed. Firebombing is known. Okay, so they call it atomic energy. They say atomic bombs did this. So it's just a psychological weapon that worked, and it worked on me, guys. I was literally terrified of nuclear bombs. Even if a motorbike went past too quickly, revving, I thought it was the 4-minute warning, and my stomach would land into my throat, and I'd be like, "Go weak." That's where it had me in fear. They were never real. And they're never going to be used. Okay, they would just control the population through fear, keeping nations in line and justifying their endless military budgets with the threat of, in the Cold War, MAD, mutual assured destruction, meaning if the enemy fire at us and wipe us out, we would have fired our missiles off as well and wiped them out. Everybody dies. That is nuclear war. So that's why, apparently, the reason that they never had it. Here is Hiroshima. Really weird that these poles here you can see with the firestorm, trees, poles, clear roads again, just like we've seen in other MOs. How come the firestorm never took all this wood out? All these trees. So yeah, they knocked it up in a little shed apparently. And then Oppenheimer says on television, which makes it real, "We have become the destroyer of worlds," quoting something out of the Bhagavad Gita. Makes him smart. And then later, with the Edward Teller hating on the Oppenheimer brothers' plan, and then upping the ante with the H bomb by giving it hydrogen, apparently, with further tests, it got massive. So here's a fat boy. This was apparently dropped on Nagasaki. But these cities, if you look at footage on YouTube of Nagasaki or Hiroshima in the 1950s, the cities are big, up and running, just brand new looking, and nothing's going on, and nobody's dying of any radiation poisoning. So what? After a nuclear war, you can build everything back 5 years later and back with business then, is it? Okay. This is apparently a distant shot of the bomb that went off on Nagasaki. Okay. Well, there's no firebomb or anything here, nothing going on, is there? It's just what looks like a smoky thing in the background. And this is the official governmenty photographs that tell us what is happening in this place. Again, Hiroshima, a firestorm, thousands of degrees, incinerating everybody in the city, but it totally missed these poles. No problemo with the poles. The buildings incinerated, the poles not. Anybody? And the trams stayed completely operational, as they did with Chicago, as they did with, well, they were horses in Chicago, actually, but as they did in San Francisco in 1906. The hospitals stayed completely operational throughout the entire event. This T that you see here, this T-shaped bridge, that was ground zero for the atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb. So apparently, ground zero is okay to just walk around and not get any, adverse radiation sickness. Now, my science teacher, Mr. Coley, who was a lying shit, because I asked him, "Could you build a nuclear bomb, sir?" And he went, "Oh yes." With great confidence, I could build a nuclear bomb, but he couldn't. He couldn't resist to tell the whole class the details of radiation poisoning and how savage radiation poisoning was. Poles. This is ground zero for an atom bomb. Anybody? Very selective, isn't it? Especially when it's missing trees and wood, and all of the antiquity is completely eradicated, except for the big, strong concrete buildings. The Nagasaki explosion was apparently a miss, went near to the Docklands and missed its epicenter they planned. But you can see a lot of architecture still around following the events, and still a load of trees and poles. Suggestions of what could be going on? Well, another type of technology, possibly plasma technology, electromagnetic phase type technologies, which they have been using all along. And they don't have brainwash us with the images of napalm and napalm bombs burning small Chinese girls or Vietnamese girls, or the images of the victims of Hiroshima. Here they are at a Jesuit mission, when the Jesuit said that he only got a little bit of glass in his body from the whole event. And that is on video, and that's actually on my channel, Flat Earth British Think Tank channel, which I'll show you in a second. With a lot of information about this subject, actually from 8 years ago, that I found today. So yeah, this is the Jesuit monastery type of building, but all of the people have gone there for a bit of a cleanup, but they don't look incinerated in any way. And here is the hospital at Hiroshima. As you can see, everything outside it is incinerated, and the hospital itself, except for a few broken windows, is fully operational and unmarked. Some of the trams incinerated. I read a statement of one woman who'd survived the atom bomb, and she was working on a tram when the whole tram went up in flames, she said. But she's seen a purple light. I remember distinctly her saying, but no, the description of what the Americans are saying, like a boiling, lavery mess that they witnessed as the bomb got dropped on Hiroshima, is not what the residents were actually saying. And one guy survived 2 attacks. He survived Hiroshima, and then he survived Nagasaki. He survived 2 atom bombs. So as you can see, there's a lot of sort of a Tartarian type architecture as well. But that is completely intact, as you can see. The modern buildings completely intact, and everything else following its footprint. And the tree-lined avenues. Nice little touch for a nuclear bomb going off, wouldn't you say? It's not exactly that Sarah Connor moment, is it? When everything just gets evaporated. Not really. Not when you look at the evidence. A tower blocks. The T. This is ground zero of Hiroshima, by the way. Still a lot there. And lots of trees. So yeah, if they had a Christian church, that took a topple. And we'll move on from that. And this is one of the only photographs. There's only 6, I think, is a handful. I think it's 6 photographs that actually they said were taken on the day. And this was actually apparently taken on the day. It looks like a pair of trousers are in the tree. The tree's absolutely fab. And just, there's a guy standing there and it's just incinerated. Everyone is not incinerated. Just a fire. This is a really telling photograph. This is the months following the blast in Nagasaki, which was an atom bomb. There's maybe one of them tower blocks we've seen earlier, but the amount of people after the war, you can see there's debris still from the atom bomb. Nobody is affected by any radiation poisoning or even told to stay out of the city. And the city, which took no time at all to get back up on its feet after apparently terrifying atom bombs. The tests themselves, well, they're ridiculous. They used them as like a Disney project, but done a really good job of terrifying people. You got to look away, and then there's a flash, and then there's a blast in the distance. And then what you get is something that looks like this. This is what you see from the Horseshoe Club in downtown Las Vegas. You can witness the White Sands tests, the Proving Grounds tests from the comfort of a coffee shop in Las Vegas, because it's no problem testing an atom bomb, a hop, skip, and a jump from a major cosmopolitan center. So witness the power of the atom bomb. See genuine atoms split into smithereens. They split the atom, guys. Let's run. Let's be scared. And there's Las Vegas with, I'm guessing they say that's a real image. But it does look AI as fuck. And it does look Photoshopped. To say that there's an atom bomb at the end of that street, and the street is just, well, it's ongoing today, isn't it? And atom bombs going off in the distance, while the residents of Las Vegas chill out around by the pool. Now, in the case of the Trinity tests, they say they exploded 120,000 tons of TNT. Yeah, that bit I think is true. Plus, they had an odd casket there, this odd drum called Jumbo. Some say they were producing a golem that became the president's wife, but a president's wife. I'm not saying which. That is an amazing nuclear fucking mushroom cloud. My God, my stomach's turning over. It's petrifying. So yeah, welcome atomic soldiers. They're going to work with the bomb. That gives it extra verification when you get like 50,000 soldiers watching a conventional explosion, being told that it's dangerous. And like I said, what are they? A couple of hundred, maybe a mile away from it, and nobody's getting incinerated. Nothing's going on. There's people going off watching it again. And it's not even far away, is it? Do you ever see the nuclear cannon pictures? Unfortunately, I can't give you any of them pictures, but they say that they put a nuclear bomb into a conventional cannon. They told us nuclear bombs are in suitcases. All of this is just words. Any of it happened. The Atomic Energy Commission, Nevada, Mercury, Nevada, all the buses going in, all the Nazis brought over for the Operation Paperclip and the Manhattan Project then, and apparently the development of terrifying new weapons. Well, they tell us all of this, don't they? After the fact. Super secret. And apparently there was a Russian spy and he gave all of the secrets to the Russians, and they then invented it. They had a nuclear bomb then too. And then they stole the hydrogen bomb as well. schematics and built hydrogen bombs. So there it is, white sands, as you can see, crater, 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 crater. And they couldn't even be bothered filling them in because they want people to fly over it and see it. This is your evidence that nukes are real, is holes in the ground. There you are, like the Loch Nagar crater, which was made by Amatol in World War One. So this hole in the ground is apparently made by an atom bomb. No other source, even though the Loch Nagar crater was made by conventional Amatol explosives and was much, much bigger. Miss Nuclear, I don't give a damn. Because it's a nuclear bomb in the background, and as she knows, that's not no problemo, because they're only blasting explosives. See? Okay. Yeah, that's really, really shit, isn't it? That's what we get, guys. That is it. And the footage that I showed you earlier, that's all you get, yeah? There's the nuclear cannon, yeah, so they say. And when you look at the video, this guy standing like about 500 yards from this, and apparently they're saying it's atomic. They get literally this 88, and they fire apparently an atomic shell. Okay. Tell us they use depleted uranium in tanks as well, don't they, to, chisel through the side. That might be the case. Nuclear bombs. No. But uranium energy is an energy source that emits radiation. That's for sure. So that's apparently a nuclear bomb. Do you see all these guys covered up with nuclear stuff? Yeah, man, that looks really, really terrifying. Okay, now, I don't know whether you know, guys, but I got a channel, Flat Earth British Filtered, it used to be called back in the day. This video I posted over, well, it's 9 years ago, but it says 8 years ago there. And quite amazing, really, to show you that if nukes were real, we've had a nuclear war over and over again, because apparently this is the timeline map for every nuclear explosion. And I'm not going to show it all because, as you can see, it's 14 minutes long, but they show you how it all escalates. Okay, America got 12, 13 tests off. Okay, in the Pacific. I am Mike Ivory. Oh, what was it called? Bikini Atoll tests with the British, I think. Oh, that's in Nevada desert. You get 32 nukes going off. The Russians have got 3. And the British just joined there. And they got 3 nukes now. Okay, they've done 3 tests, I mean. Okay, more tests in the Pacific where loads of people are out of the way. I literally, an Australian guy said to me once in a coffee shop, he said, I seen a nuclear bomb going off in Australia in the tests in the 50s. I said, did you? He said, well, no, actually, he said, I didn't see it. I sort of heard it where it was coming from, but it was over the curvature of Earth, so I didn't see it. It's like, right, okay. The Russians, they tested the Tsar bomber up on this peninsula here, the biggest hydrogen bomb going. The Australians, loads of nuclear explosions going off in Australia. So let's stop. Let's see the count. Russia got 54 tests, America 120, and Britain, they got 15. But we're going to get on a few in years, okay? And we got France have joined the nuclear club with 39 tests. And the Russians have got 326, but the Americans, as usual, way out ahead with 653 nuclear tests. Bring it on, Santa. Okay, the Indians are going to get in on the game and all in a minute, and they say the Israelis as well. And what is not included in this, because of the timescale of the video that I produced, is they say North Korea did tests, many of them apparently, no evidence obviously, they're just saying these words, and that they have nuclear bombs. So they have nuclear bombs that they tested that are apparently real, but the rest of the West, there's is antiquated 30-year-old stockpiles. Groovy. And that is what they're telling us. So as you can see, thousands of bombs apparently have been going off. So we get up to here, it starts getting a bit nutty before it goes quiet. Okay, up to 1,000 bombs there tested. Loads in northern India there. Ooh, that's the Russians in some of these southern states. Pacific's going off as well. And who we got down here? Oh, yeah, we've got India's got one and Pakistan's got some as well. Okay. And if we bring it up by here, it absolutely goes nuts off the radar. everyone starts blowing bombs up as well, apparently. So if radiation was a thing, the whole world would be irradiated because they've literally launched 2,000 nuclear bombs or exploded 2,000 nuclear bombs. So Britain done 45. The French were big on new testing nukes. They had 205 tests, and Britain only 45. Come on, Britain, get your nuclear tests on. Let's give us some evidence. Just showing you that it's all just fake, guys. This is how they control you. This is how they fear-based mind control you. You don't need no evidence. You don't need any proof. And there isn't any proof except for grainy old shitty pictures, guys, from a lifetime ago. Anyway, if you do check out my Flat Earth British channel, I'll link it up below. There's a plethora of videos on here, you know, from time immemorial. Let's have a little look. There you are, Flat Earth British. And I did Flat Earthers Got Talent. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to this channel. That'll be all for today. I'm going to be back very soon. Weekend's coming as well. We have another flat day, and I've got 2 vlogs ready to come. And I'm on Truth Juice in Birmingham next Tuesday, the 1st of August at the E25 Club. If you want to come down and check out my mind-blowing presentation that I've got ready for that no one has seen. And it's going to be really groovy. So there's that. So you can see, yeah, these are 6 years ago. I was talking about expositions and mudflood and tartaria way back when. And this was my pièce de résistance, the absolute juice of the great secret never told synopsis, the Holy Grail. We all learned about fasces, 4 angels. So there's flat earthers there. Half of them have, there's Robbie there. He went turncoat, didn't he? And yeah, so shit show that I can't bother. So yeah, I mean, it goes right back 8 years, 9 years of just. I'm back there, flat earthy. Back there, look. There I am. Look, I look about 12-year-old. I got music videos on you, and I've got copyright. It's really weird, that is. So yeah, check it out. Okay, I'm going. I'll see you all very soon. So to conclude, guys, that's just a psyop. That's just a case for illusion, okay? And the footage is crap. And I reckon a lot of it took out the infrastructure of ancient cities, antiquitech, etc. Wouldn't you? Yeah, A-bombs. Fucking didn't do the resets. Mudfloods did. I will be back very, very soon. Boom Shankar.